If you're in the private equity or M&A space, then this video is for you. Because in this video, I'm going to show you how I helped a buy-side broker who works on behalf of private equity companies generate 95 off-market leads with local businesses who want to sell their business using just cold email. Now let me show you very quickly inside the campaigns. This is inside of Instantly. The four niches that we went after is commercial cleaning, pest control, dog grooming, and accounting. You can see the amount of emails sent over here. This should be just shy of 10,000 because we sent 5 emails to 5,000 contacts, a total of 10,000 emails with a two-step sequence. We didn't track clicking, we didn't track open rates. And you can see the reply percentage over here, and then the opportunities generated on the right-hand side. Now I'm going to run through how exactly that I did that. So just a quick recap, the niches were accounting, pest control, commercial cleaning, dog grooming. This is just what this client wanted to go for. The opportunities are absolutely endless. We can scrape any brick and mortar business using Google Maps, and we can scrape anyone else who has a strong presence on LinkedIn through places like Apollo and LinkedIn, of course. The ICP was to have a valuation between 1 million and 5 million and a yearly profit of 250,000. And these were the results. 5,000 contacts to 10,000 emails, so that's a two-step sequence, 95 positive replies. 12 of those are actually qualified businesses that meet the yearly profit target and valuation mark. And out of those 12 qualified businesses, 2 passed due diligence and are going into the offer stage. And with this buy side broker, each deal being worth a minimum of $150,000 to $250,000 in fees. Now, how did we actually do that? Let me tell you. So the first thing that we had to figure out was our sending infrastructure. The mix that we went with was Instantly's done for you inboxes, and these are all Google inboxes. We followed the typical 14-day warm up, and then we targeted a 45 to 55% reply rate. Our sending volume per inbox was purely just a normal ramp up for the first 14 days. And once we got into sending campaigns, we were sending 10 campaign emails and 10 warm up emails. In terms of list building, how did we scrape them? We scraped them predominantly with Google Maps, and then we also used Hunter as our main lead source. You can use loads of lead sources. You can use ZoomInfo, you can use Apollo, you can use Prospeo, ICPs, you can use Hunter. The reason why we went with Hunter in this scenario is because Hunter has the most amount of local business leads. And this client also had a constraint saying that they wanted to keep it under a specific cost so that they can replicate it in-house with multiple team members so that we only chose one lead source. You can go with multiple lead sources. This was just a constraint of this particular project. Then, in terms of finding the closest determinant to either a 1 to 5 million valuation or a yearly profit of $250,000, you cannot scrape for revenue on Google Maps. So the closest determinant that we have was the amount of Google reviews. So depending on the type of business, dog grooming is a much lower ticket, higher volume compared to accounting, and therefore the amount of Google reviews that you need on a dog grooming business to be having a valuation of 1 to 5 million is different to the amount of Google reviews you need to have for accounting. So this will be determined by the type of niche that you're going after. The type of emails that we went for was we always prioritized for owners' emails, and only if we couldn't find an owner's email, then we fell back to the generic info at email. A lot of people will say, hey, we don't send to generic emails, they don't work. The data shows that this is not true. The reason being is, especially in the smaller brick and mortar businesses that we're going after, let's say they're below 20 people in terms of their staff, or maybe even 30 people, it's usually a decision maker who's actually manning this generic email. And either the owner will see it directly or will get forwarded on because we've generated loads of leads from just sending to the generic emails as well. So don't sleep on this. In terms of copywriting, we have different copy, one that goes to Google and one that goes to Outlook and ESGs. As you can see here, there's always going to be a Google, Outlook, ESG, Google, Outlook, ESG, Google, Outlook, ESG. Reason being is because at the moment, when we ran these campaigns, which we ran them in October 2025 and November 2025, deliverability to Outlook and ESGs is much more difficult to Google. So we had to use different copy. You can use the same copy for all of them, but you will see that you will get worse results with this. You'll land in spam more because Google can actually handle more spam words. Google is outperforming massively at the moment. And there might be some agencies or some people that you see online that say, hey, we're getting the same results with Outlook. If they are, ask them, hey, can I see the results? Can you show me inside of Instantly, Smart Lead, Email Bison? Let me see the results, because if they actually truly are doing it, amazing. You need to learn from them. But from me and all the other smarter people who are doing way more than me are seeing the same results. Outlook is massively underperforming. ESGs are also underperforming, but not as much. So what will happen? Google will allow you to put in an offer to someone in an email. ESGs are looking to stop fraud. ESGs don't want you to be scamming, phishing, pretending to be different identities, but they will let an offer go through. Outlook will outright block an offer. Therefore, the copy needs to be much softer and less salesy to go in. And therefore, the lead intent of the positive replies that come through might not be as high, but you will just have to nurture the conversation a bit more. It might take another 1 to 2 steps before you can try to get them on a call to say that, hey, I want to purchase your business. Each of the copies had 4 custom variables, and we had a 2-step sequence. I'm not going to show you the exact copy that we sent because that's confidential with the client. I don't want to give that away. And then in terms of the campaign management, as I mentioned, we separated Google, Outlook, and ESGs. I can show you the stats so you have a better understanding. If you have a look right here, accounting on Google and others was 8.2% reply rate, and we had 60 total replies and 17 positive replies. For Outlook, we had a 1.5% reply rate, and you can see the massive difference in here. 14 total replies, 2 positive. ESG, only 1.3% reply, and you can see there's not a positive reply here because the amount of emails sent was much lower. So here you can see the total amount of emails sent. Again, to dog grooming, 12.7% replies, only, and then 39 of them being positive. The majority of them coming from Google. Outlook, 2.6% reply, only 1 positive reply. ESG, much smaller number. Again, pest control, Google massively dominating. Commercial cleaning, Google massively dominating. And this is even with having changed the copy to Outlook and ESGs. Then the next thing that would had to be done was appointment setting. So my client did the appointment setting themselves. I only worked on setting up the email infrastructure, scraping the list, writing the copy, and managing the campaigns. Once a positive reply came in, my client had a sales rep who would do their own appointment setting. They would call them. The most important thing is speed to lead, qualifying the owner on how much involvement they have, what was their revenue, what was their profit, and their desire to sell. Now, what could be done differently? So if you're a private equity business or you're a buy-side broker and you want to work with me, I'm going to put a link below and you can book in a call with me to speak about this. But if you were to go and do this by yourself, what can be done differently depending on how large your total addressable market is and how much volume you're looking to send? So what I mean by how large your total addressable market is, if you have, let's say, 50,000 in your total addressable market and you want to send 20,000 emails a month, this is going to be much higher. We sent 10,000 emails with a total of 5,000 contacts. And if you're going to send much higher volume, this is what I would change. So the issues that we ran into was that we were completely reliant on having just Google inboxes. So I'm just going to start with the second point. We were only using the instantly done for you inboxes from Google. And this was a problem because in October and November 2025, which was when we ran the campaign, Google had a massive sweep of the accounts that were on instantly, which meant that we got hit and we lost a lot of inboxes. Luckily, based on how I work with all my clients, we always have enough inboxes. We always have at least another 50 to 100% in sending infrastructure in case our accounts go down, that we're able to swap in the new ones immediately and continue running without having a slowdown of leads. If we didn't have that, we would have had to purchase inboxes and domains all over again, warm them up, and then be able to start sending again in 14 days. So If you're going to send high volume, make sure you diversify your sending infrastructure. I also have another YouTube video that I created, which is talking about exactly this, how you can diversify to send tens of thousands of emails per day, have max deliverability, and stay out of the spam folder. The second thing, if your TAM is large enough, you can just not send to Outlook at all and only send to Google. As previously mentioned, deliverability to Outlook. And the reason I put in the date here, October, November 2025, is because cold email changes all the time. And it's very specific of this is what's happening today. It could be different in a month. It could be different in 2 months. But right now, deliverability to Outlook especially is extremely difficult. So at the moment, you could just send to Google only, keep your Microsoft leads on the side. You could have a small campaign just drip feeding them into Outlook using a completely different sending infrastructure so you don't accidentally burn anything because so many of them are going to spam. And then once you start to see that reply rate dip up, then you say, hey, maybe Outlook's making some changes, and then you can start running volume to Outlook again. Another thing you can do, if your TAM is really small, maybe you want to increase the steps in your sequences. We only ran a 2-step sequence. You could do a 3 or 4-step sequence in a short time frame, but beware of going over this. If you're sending 3 or 4 sequences in, let's say, 10 to 15 days, if people never replied by the second one, the third or fourth time they might just get pissed off and they start mark you as spam. That affects your deliverability of all of your other campaigns. So it's good just to keep it within 2 to 3. If you're going to increase it to 3, 4, 5, really start to space this out. You can have a 3-day gap in your first email, a 4-day gap, and you can have a 7-day gap, and then a 10-day gap. Better off reach out again to the same leads in 3 to 4 months time. And because the most important thing with this business is timing is everything. Right now, people might not be ready to sell their business. Been 4 months, who knows? Things might be different. You can always rinse and repeat these leads again. And that's the whole conclusion of exactly how I helped a buy side broker generate 95 off market local business leads in 30 days. If you're a buy side broker or a private equity business or you're in the M&A space and you want help generating off market leads with cold email, I'll put a link below this video in the description and you can book in a call to speak with me. And I'll see you in the next video.